Yo, what is going on? It is DJ Crowley here, simmer down live from home once again. We got an old friend in the house, Brandon Hardesty, Bumpin Uglies. What is going on, man?
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
It's really great to have you, man. It was cool to reconnect with you in Asheville. It had been a really long time, and a lot of things have changed, man. But one thing that hasn't is your love for your city and your state, man. I want to talk about Reggae Rise Up Maryland to start this off. Tell us about that experience, man, walking onto that stage.
I mean, it was powerful. For starters, a common question that I get, and I'm sure most musicians get, is people ask you "What's your favorite gig? Like, what's your favorite show you've ever done?" And when you're on the road as much as we are, it's all kind of like Groundhog Day. It's just it all runs together, and it's really hard to differentiate.
Yeah.
But I could very confidently say after Reggae Rise Up Maryland, that's the best show we've ever had. It was just so far and away. Separated just from everything else. It was just so high, just such a different caliber of show because it was 45 minutes from my house. We've gotten to a point where we've had some modest success. Where we're fortunate, we're playing in clubs every night where we get, hundreds of people are coming out to buy tickets to see us and they're singing the words and it's a really cool thing. But Reggae Rise Up, we've played to like big crowds before, but usually it's crowds like at a festival where they don't really know you and they're just kind of taking it in. But
Right.
we were playing to thousands of people at Reggae Rise at Maryland and they were singing the words and it was just it was the first time I felt like a headliner at a festival. So it was just really powerful. Um, and then there was that feeling of it, but then just the significance of the event too, because I mean you gotta figure you gotta like it's been a really interesting experience playing this genre of music and being from Maryland because the whole genre is associated with Southern California and the majority of the scene is based out of Southern California. So we spent 10 years traveling the country, going to these places where people think we're from Southern California, and I'm very quick to correct people because I'm proud of where I'm from. So to to have that to live that life, to live those experiences for 10 years and then have like one of the premier festivals in our genre come and do this thing right in our backyard and we were able to play the inaugural year and have such a positive set. It was just I can't really put it into words how big of a thing it was for us and how good it felt.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when they announced Rise Up Maryland, you're the first person I thought of. I was like, oh, man, this is this is the dream right here, man. He loves his state, he loves his city, and to have a big festival like that. Yeah, I could almost see that. Like he felt like a headliner for the first time at a big festival.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. I just can't say I can't say it enough how much I appreciate Vaughn and that whole team bringing something like that to the Mid Atlantic and to Maryland specifically.
Yeah, that was I knew they were branching with Vegas and all that stuff, Utah and the OG in Florida, but I was like, wow, they're doing Maryland. What an interesting place to do it. Perfect place to do another one, I think.
Yeah, I think we have a really strong scene here. There's a lot of clearly there's a lot of fans that appreciate the genre and the that style of music and there's a whole really cool eclectic scene out here that has its own take on this American reggae genre, so it's
Mhm.
just it's just great overall. Like I think the more events that exist like that, it just helps everyone grow. But specifically like our scene in general out here in Maryland, like having like something like that for bands to kind of like grow into is just it's huge.
It is, man. Hey, if you're just tuning in, you're late. It's all good. We got B Hard, Brandon Hardesty, Bumpin' Uglies. in the house, man. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Uglies Nation, the family members here in a bit. I know you touched on it there, but we got something big to talk about here. We got a record out, Mid Atlantic Dub, man. You said it the other day. This is the best thing we've ever done. Tell us about it.
I just, I mean, I stand by that, and the reason I think that is a bunch of different reasons. I mean, I'm a firm believer that like if you're recording something and you're not just over the moon about it and you don't think it's the best thing you've ever done, then you need to go back to the drawing board because like for me personally, like whatever I'm working on, that's I'm usually super stoked on it, you know. So if you're not excited about it, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Um, but that said, we've always been a very eclectic band. Like I don't ever I will not ever be the band that's like putting out the same record over and over again or the same song over and over again. Like I like doing different stuff. Like I'm a songwriter first and foremost, and it's important to me to like stay just I guess honest and you know, I want to keep moving forward. I don't want to just tell the same story over and over again. Um, so that said, we've been very eclectic. You know, we've done a bunch of different sounds, and it's cool. Like I've enjoyed all of it. But like I found throughout, you know, the last few records specifically, we got really kind of weird there for a bit. You know, we did one like the Suitcase record, which is one of like the Suitcase record's like one of my favorite records we ever did because I'm a big Americana fan and like alt country fan.
Mhm.
So it was like trying to kind of combine that with reggae, and I thought it was really cool. And a lot of our fans really liked it, and then a lot of I would say the majority of the fans, like the casual kind of like the super fans, like Uglies Nation, like seem to really like it. But then like the casual fans who kind of just know us from the American reggae genre, and they know us because of like Island Time and like some of the hits. They're like, "What the fuck is this like twangy guitar? Like, is it like what is this country sounding kind of thing?" And it was just too weird for them. So it's like, and that's fair, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
um, you got to kind of respect like the things that are paying your bills. So like I kind of like going into this record, I had this theory that the thing that seemed to be like clicking the most with us and like really resonating with the genre as a whole is when we do like the catchy dubby reggae stuff and then the hip hop leaning stuff.
Mhm.
And then, you know, like the ska stuff has always done good for us as long as it's like an upbeat, you know, really like the whole idea was like I wanted to put a record on that people could like really dance to and would be like good to like for a live setting. And then also you could drive, it was like a vibe, like you could drive around and smoke a blunt to it. So like we recorded all these songs. Like we have a whole nother record of material just sitting in the locker waiting to get released. Um, but like I chose these songs for this record because I wanted to have that cohesive vibe. Like I really wanted to lean into what we did best to try to put out a record that really that we could kind of like brand ourselves around in an attempt to grow. And I think I really think we accomplished it. I think like you know the whole cohesiveness of the record is it has just like a very um, consistent vibe throughout it, while at the same time it doesn't sound like one song over and over and over again. And I'm just you know I really think we hit the mark with what I was trying to accomplish with that. So you know time will tell. Like the response so far has been really positive, but I think it's a good I'm trying to think of the expression. It's just it's a good thing to attach ourselves to for the next few years, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Mid Atlantic Dub. I love the name of it too, man. Where did that one come from?
Well, like I did that or the Collie Buds song, like the Cali Roots Rhythm thing a few years
Mhm.
ago, where it's like they send the same track out to everyone and they write lyrics for it. And I wrote like I just wrote like 3 minutes of just straight bars, and it was just kind of like an origin story kind of thing. And to me, it felt almost like a war cry, like just like a shout of defiance of like what our whole thing is about, you know, because I don't know, I've kind of always had a chip on my shoulder throughout all of this, and I felt like I did a really good job with that, and I said what I wanted to say, and I just came up with that name, like Mid Atlantic Dub. I was like, fuck yeah, like it was kind of like a
Yeah.
dubby song, and it was like this is our region. It was just cool, and I always liked that name. And this record just like once again, like I was really trying to like make this record that we could tie ourselves to, and it was really important to me. Like I wanted to be a champion of like Maryland, and the East Coast in general with this. Like I really wanted to spell it out to people. Like we're doing this, we're good at it, and we're from fucking Maryland and the East Coast. And there's a lot of other people out here that are doing this really, really well. And I just thought, and I tried to keep that in mind with every facet of it. Like I kept it so the name, like Mid Atlantic Dub, the features we all got are all like fellow like East Coast homies and like Tropidelic out of Ohio. I kind of consider that East Coast. I was just trying to do this whole thing where it's like this is what we're doing, this is our scene out here,
Yeah.
and this is what we do.
Dub is by definition the reverberation of sound, but it's also rebellious. It's we're taking something and breaking it down and doing what we want with a song. And I think that's a really perfect name for it. And there are some dub elements, but there's also all kinds of other elements, which is what you guys are. And I think it's a perfect name for it. Real quick, how can people check you guys out and find out more about the record?
I mean, the best place to really stay in the know with what we got going on is if you're on Facebook, check out our group, Uglies Nation. If you're not on Facebook, then you can hit our website at bumpinuggliesmusic.com. We're on Instagram and all that stuff. Pretty easy to find. We're on all the social platforms.
Yep, absolutely. Moving on here, I'm sure you've been asked this 1,000 times. You're dad now, you're sober now, you got, a wife, 2 kids. But I want to ask you what you've learned from all of those major life changes.
I guess like the biggest thing is just how to like you really learn like what's important, and you know, becoming a dad and getting sober for two things that very, very much forced me to like reprioritize what mattered. I feel like I spent a lot of time in my life like looking for acceptance and like looking for validation from external factors as opposed to just trying to do what I wanted to do the best way that I could do it, and like really ultimately just trying to make a living for myself and being able to provide for my kids and making sure my guys, like the rest of the guys in my band and crew, can make a living. Like that's all that matters. I've realized like I don't need like acceptance from a scene or you know dudes in other bands to like what I'm doing. It's really just about paying the bills.
Yeah, man. It seems like you're becoming a businessman, through all this stuff. And it's crazy. You were talking about, you really want this new record, Mid Atlantic Dub, to really get out there, and you guys really want to crack, the Billboard, the all around Billboard. I think you said on Sugar Shack, the Billboard charts, making that, top of the all around really can make your dick look just a little bit bigger, right?
Yeah.
I think I can see you over the years. Like I know you've always been driven to, to be the best and, make money doing it, but I'm really seeing it now. You're becoming very smart with what you're doing. You're maturing, man.
Well, I mean, I just spent a long time like trying to get put into the existing system. Like I just for a long time, like my idea of success was like, one day Slightly Stupid's going to take us on tour, or like Revolution's going to take us on tour. And you just see it happen. I've seen it happen for so many bands over the course of my time in this. It's like you get put on one of these tours and then you're like accepted and you're at the cool kid table, and then you just your career kind of starts to like pick up. And I just kept trying to make that happen and waiting for that to happen, and eventually I just kind of had to accept like this may never happen for us, and that's fine, but I'm just going to have to do this on my own and kind of figure out my own thing. So it's like, okay, well, how do I create my own buzz, and how do I create my own thing? And how do, and so I've just started focusing more it's kind of like there's this philosophy called stoicism where it's like you can't concentrate on the things you can't control. You have to just focus on the things you can control. And that's kind of what I was getting at earlier. Like I definitely have figured that out through sobriety and through becoming a father. It's just like a lot of that. I feel like a lot of that need came from like insecurity and like wanting validation. And eventually you just had to get rid of your own ego and just be like, all right, fuck ego, fuck validation. I just want to pay my bills, dude. I just want to be like, I love what I do. I love writing songs and I love playing them for people. And I love the interaction of like being in an audience with people who are vibing with what you're doing. Like I want to be like Paul McCartney and doing that until I'm 70. And the only way I can do that is if the money makes sense. You know, I'm not trying to, I don't care about being rich. I just want to be able to do this, you know? So it's like,
Yeah.
that's just where my head's at, you know?
Well, stability, that's one thing I've found over the years too. Like man, this is really fun. But as you start getting older, no matter if you're getting big or not, like it's you got to be stable, and especially when you have a family and people back home, and it's very important. And I think it's a very good point for musicians out there that uh, money sucks, but you got to have a little bit to to survive and be happy and
I
stable.
mean, money is like the only way you can do this. It's like whether or not you like money. I mean, yeah, I mean, it depends on how you want to live. Like if you want to just hop trains and fucking squat and whatever. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I mean, like for me, like I got a wife and kids and shit, and it's like I need to provide. You know, I need to like my wife isn't a princess by any means. You know, like we go Dutch on everything, like we split everything in this house, but like I need to carry my weight. You know,
Yeah,
even if I'm not doing this, then I need to go do something else to make money. Like,
yeah. Well, you're doing a good job, man. Mid Atlantic Dub is the brand new record. Please, everybody out there, go support it. Bumpinuggliesmusic.com. Got a few more questions for you, man. I want to talk about the stage just real quick. When we saw you in Asheville, man, your chops have just gotten really good. You are playing guitar like I've never ever seen you. You got horns coming into the lineup now. Tell us a little bit about the live show and where it's going.
yeah, well, I mean, we started playing with Ethan. Yeah, so Ethan for a long time was our trombone player. Um, and then I was looking to bring on a new keyboard player, and he mentioned to me, he was like, "Look, man, like the keyboard's my first instrument." So I was like, "Well, hell
Mm-hmm.
yeah, dude! Like that's a no-brainer." So brought him on as keys and trombone. He also plays a little guitar too. And then Will, I wanted a full-time horn player, and I met Will through just the local scene, and he just I was looking for a tenor sax. I was looking for a trumpet player, but he played tenor sax and he just rips on it, and he fit the vibe perfectly, and he plays guitar as well. So between those two guys, we've just been really able to like fill out the sound. We can have like the two-piece horn section. Essentially we got the two-piece horn section every night. So like the ska songs are really cool in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the dubby stuff, he plays guitar as well, and he can kind of do like these just really cool um, different layers, kind of like delayed out and verbed out layers, and while Ethan's doing keys, and it's just been great. Um, I've got our my studio trumpet player Nick Ryder. He doesn't tour with us, but he does do some touring. Like he'll come out and do the big festivals. He's doing like the 311 cruise with us. But
Oh,
we actually
that's
have
right.
yeah, and I've got a percussion player I've been playing with too. That's just a fucking monster. This dude Ben Bays. So I mean, depending on the night you catch us, we could be an eight-piece band, or sometimes a four-piece band or a three-piece band, but usually it's a five-piece. And it's just I'm trying to. I'm just a big. I just don't like tracks. I think playing to tracks is just I don't know. I get why people do it, but I will never do it. It's just not
Right.
my thing. Like I want to be a band. Like we are a band. So
Mm-hmm.
like I want that big sound, and so by doing it, I'm just bringing out players, and I think we've kind of figured that out and gotten a really big sound.
Yeah, and that comes from being stable enough to add more people to the team and the live band.
Yeah.
So I want to move into Uglies Nation, 23,000 strong. And I got to shout out Dawn, man, for, being the Bumpin Uglies band mom slash ambassador. When did you meet Dawn and how did this whole Bumpin Uglies Nation thing come?
Man, I think it must have been like 2015 or something. I just I was just promoting, man. Like I was going into the Dirty Heads group, Wicked and Wily, and just promoting my shit. And she was in there, and we just clicked. We just started talking over Messenger, and I was just sending her music that we were working on, and she offered to help admin because she kind of liked my philosophy with just how I treated fans and how I treated people and like what I was about. And she kind of saw my work ethic and just thought it would be cool to help out. And it's been at least 6 or 7 years at this point, but she's just all in, and she's been such a huge part of it because she cares about the band. She cares about the band as much as I do. You know what I mean? I think she cares about the band more than some of the players in the band. So like, it's really cool having someone that like believes in you like that, to help out with those kind of things.
Yeah, man, she's just unbelievable. It's so vitally important to have people on your team that really have passion for what you're doing and to help you succeed even more. The family has a question. Tiffany Dawn, actually one of my homies. Where do you see Bumpin' Uglies in the next 5 to 10 years? What's coming up? What do you want to see?
I mean, I want to headline amphitheaters, dude. I want to be like the first real big like band on the East Coast. It's like doing our own amphitheater tour. Like that's my long-term goal. But, that may not happen for us. So like really, I just want to get to a point. I want to keep growing. Like I'd love to get to a point where we're doing, 1,000 to 1,500 cap clubs, and packing them the fuck out. Like I'd like to have the band be on a tour bus. I'd like to have a full-time trumpet player and a full-time percussion player to tour with. Um, I want all my guys to be making a good living. I want to keep writing and recording. I want to keep doing what we're doing, but at a bigger level. But like what I really do want to do is like I want to just keep, yeah, I would love ultimately to get to that point where we're doing amphitheaters and kind of just keep concentrating on building our own thing out here on the East Coast.
You are, man. Just to see the growth of you guys over the years is incredible. And I know, Bumpin' Uglies, the name has hindered you, in some aspects. But if you think about it, the Bumpin' Uglies name, you are now the first thing that pops up on Google. It's almost like you've changed the meaning of the phrase from what it was to what it is now. It's successful. It's a successful, passionate, relentlessly hardworking band with some real life shit to say to help the world get through the struggles of life. Remember that, man. It doesn't have to mean what it used to
So
mean.
what you're saying is that we won the battle against porn.
I think you have.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
You win.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it's been a blast chatting with you. Only got a few minutes left, but I've actually never interviewed you before. So, everybody gets this question, and even the bands that aren't 100% reggae get this question. I'm eager to see what you think, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. Mid Atlantic Dub is the name of the new record. It's out everywhere. BumpinUgliesMusic.com at Bumpin Uglies. Check out Uglies Nation, man. 23,000 strong. These guys are going to be doing big amphitheaters. They are going to succeed. They are going to have a tour bus because of passion drive, man. This guy does not ever stop. One more question. What does reggae mean to you?
Um, I don't know, man. That's a hard question. I think of it I just think of reggae as music. It's just like another form. It's just a form of expression, and um it's a cultural thing. It's a regional thing. You know what I mean? Like I would say that reggae is very similar to the blues or just anything where it's like it became a voice for people who didn't have a voice, and they were getting their words out there. And I think you see that in all the best music. You know, you see that in Americana, you see that in blues, you see it in reggae, you see it in hip hop. You know what I mean? Like I think that's one of the reasons why like reggae and hip hop got so like incestuous. You know, like with like dance hall and whatnot. It's all about just the struggle and getting your voice out. You know.
That's exactly what you do, man. You're doing a good job of it. We love you, man. We wish you all the luck. You won't need it because you're going to the top, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. Plug it up one more time for us. How can we find you in the new record?
Just check us out on Facebook and Uglies Nation. You know, we're on pretty much all over the internet. I just want to give a big shout out to my homies. Fucking Article Sound System, Little Stranger, Tropidelic, Elevators, Joey Harkham, Joint Operation, all the homies out there just working, doing their thing, man, hitting the highway and spreading the music around.
Nothing like healthy competition, right?
Ballyhoo, fucking the OGs, Ballyhoo and Howie, man. I almost forgot them, man.
That's such a wonderful song too, man. You know, it's so you. It's like, I want to be number one. I want to be number one. We all want to be number one, but we still love each other and support each other. It's a great message, you know, in that one, man.
I feel like no one ever wants to admit that shit, like the side of the self-centered side of that shit. You know, just because I want it's like just because I want the homies to win too doesn't mean I don't want to be the best at it.
And that's what you say. You never lie, my friend. You never lie. Hey, it's great talking to you. Thank you so much, man.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Doesn't start until the wild girls show. Pocket full of Dutchess, twisted up with the dro. Handle full of Captain, baggie full of blow. It's about to turn up. If you know, then you know, yo. Calling everybody son. 19 and wild, yo, they always got the blunts. Looking for some trouble, they are always on the hunt. And if you wanna run your mouth, they ain't scared to confront. Wu-Tang blasting while they're rolling through the city. Got the boys at the party blowing lines off her titties. Hair snipples out, shorties feeling like a bitty. Middle finger in the air, looking so damn pretty. The party doesn't start till the wild girls show. Pocket full